Hey, you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. This morning, I felt like sharing some intuitive energy reports regarding the upcoming full moon in November. So, there's been a real shift in collective perceptions and how we're relating to ourselves and one another. Based on those shifts, we're continuing to see emotional upheavals in our lives and the lives of people around us. I'm hearing a big thing about denial and how we're beginning to recognize the insidiousness of denying the emotional body. And we're also seeing the corrupted aspect of denying the heart field. So, in a really simple way, this is about how denying love in ourselves and denying the heart space as like another brain, as another logical kind of thinking center for the body and the life, like the life force that we are. We're more en masse, like collectively, we're beginning to recognize the importance of that connection for our healing and our evolution. There's little left to argue in that regard. The research has been done. So frustrations and anger and resistances, those are all really rising to the surface now because the old paradigm, you could say, or the walls and the structure, the kind of systematic structure of the patriarchy, and or the system, whatever you want to call it, that's really crumbling. And so because that, it's like when our ego starts to, when we start to go through an ego death or a dark night of the soul or the atonement, there might be a part of us that really resists it, doesn't want to change, doesn't or doesn't want to admit that we're wrong, or doesn't want to admit that we have these issues. And so all those resistances are now really coming to the surface. All the ways that we've allowed ourselves to be disempowered through the ages. And that's something else. It's not just this lifetime, it's potentially multiple lifetimes that we're healing a disempowered thread, giving power away externally to forces. There's still our oneness self. There's still, so it's that denial and disconnection that's actually created the system in the first place. It's part of our own like sin, right? Like the sin of disconnection ultimately energetically is what's created the monster of the system or the war cycle on the planet through our disempowered separation aspect. The conflict of our own consciousness, right, is what's created the conflict in the world that we see around us. And because we're evolving, we're recognizing that conflict is a self-responsible healing that one must choose to heal through the power of love. And that's where I see the denial flipping back and forth, is that we deny love's power as long as we can because it's so powerful and the healing is quite painful. We tend to deny the power of it and continue to use our mind to rationalize our way out of it until we can't do that anymore. And collectively, we're kind of coming to that apex of creation where there's enough deepening understanding that we can't bypass this work. We can't distract ourselves any longer from this works, because in order to be effective channels of change, we need to vibrate the change, which means we need to be vibrating on a higher frequency. We can't operate from that lower frequency, and we certainly can't live our purpose, be our joy, enjoy life if we're still feeding the old paradigm. Now we feed the old paradigm by denying love and or masking our feeling beingness, which means we're sort of we're blocking off certain aspects of our totality to try to fit in to what we were told the world is, to try to fit in to, and then ultimately in that aspect of fitting in, the reason we're trying to fit in is because our ego wants something. Our ego wants recognition. Our ego wants to be right. Our ego wants, sometimes we even think we want like love, but it's not. And like, that's something the last 2 to 3 years for me has been like totally pulling apart and allowing it to come undone the dominant program around love and romance, or the dominant program around marriage, and that as a construct and a convention. Because as a woman, especially like in our well, no, just globally speaking, a lot of the context of romance and relationship is like women serving. And that I've had to really let that come undone, because I've watched myself as I endeavor my own independence and my own career and my own life. I'm really seeing that kickback of how I don't fit in anywhere. And I'm not saying that from a place of pity. I'm saying that from a place of, well, if I don't fit in, we need to find, I mean, because I'm not alone. I'm not alone in the world. I might be like alone in my little community, or I might be kind of like rare in like what I'm pioneering, but I'm certainly not alone in this feeling of, one, oppression, and two, tiredness of trying to fit into boxes that are super duper small, right? So it's like, now we need to really break free, dissolve those boxes completely, and create new ones that feel more comfortable for us, and hopefully feel a lot more expansive, right? Because once you've broken free from that box, you can't go back, right? But you also have to totally love and accept people where they are, and like realizing that like loads of people, out of fear, practicality, whatever judgments and assumptions they're making in their mind, will stay in the box. But this is where our emotions are going to keep bumping up against the edges of these boxes, because the boxes are way too small, and our higher self is what's pushing these emotions to the surface, saying you have to break out of this. If you want this, and if you want that, and if you want to feel this, and if you want to create that, then you can't stay locked in this bloody box. And in my experience, and in my awareness and my research, and intuitive and both practical external, it's like the field of expansion is the emotional one, not we can't keep going round and round the same emotional frequency on that thought frequency, right? That the emotion and thoughts are totally one and the same. And we can't break through a kind of a broader aspect of mental capacity without actually breaking through it within our own emotional field, because the emotional field is the energy that we are. And as energy beings, our brain as a transmitter won't be able to pick up on higher frequency until our beingness is actually elevated to that place, and it's one and the same. So that's where All to Love, I think, is guided and pioneered to like give us access points: meditation and spirituality, unplugging from the mainstream media, making changes in your consumption patterns. Everything we do in relationship to everything else is having an impact and a ripple effect in the higher consciousness and the evolution of our species, right? And so, yes, that's part of this move. We're building new structures, right? We're allowing the old ones to die, to crumble, to collapse. And yet, when we're still on the fence, or when we're still kind of in between, we're in these small boxes. Oh, well, this is the world. This is what I was told. Well, this is how I'm supposed to fit in, and this is how it's supposed to look, and this is how it's always been, and this is da da da. But like, actually, our broader selves, our higher selves, are the aspects of us that have already evolved on every dimensional level possible, are like screaming at us. So hence, we're starting to like break free. So we're going to see more protests. We're going to see people breaking free, but actually being held in the sense of like, we now have the awareness to hold space for one another in a much more compassionate way. So we have, again, these polarities: greater compassion, love, forgiveness, and then more bubbling up, more frustration, more anger, more like bubbling to the surface, because things aren't going our way, because the old modus operandi isn't working anymore for us. And so because it's like hitting your head against a wall. People only want to hit their head against a wall so much before they get tired, or before they get bored, or before their head gets sore, right? So it's like, we can keep seeing that. Now, those of us who stopped hitting our heads against a wall ages ago can just observe with love. And I say that with so much love, because for people like us, it's mega fucking painful. It's painful when people close their heart. It's painful when people run away. Run away from their destiny. And that's something that most people didn't understand about me, because they've been involved in lots of different control patterns and is that like my only function here is to be my own purpose and potential, to reflect that back to people. And ultimately, when you're on that path, if people don't want to reflect that back, they choose something different, which usually means they're choosing to live in a box, or they're choosing to live in disconnection from their heart space, which means their life path is just going to destroy themselves. But the truth is, Nothing's definitive. And there's always infinite, like malleable choices within it. And the truth is, because we're eternal, infinite beings, literally, truly, 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 everyone is divine and on their choice and choosing their choice, right? So like when you're totally anchored in your own center, it's so much easier and liberating to just let other people be anchored in their center and not be attached to outcome when it comes to like fantasy projection, even desired outcome. Like I could honestly say like I have a certain heartfelt like desire, and like this is how it would be really nice, and this is da, 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 da. But like at the same time there's no attachment to the outcome because people make their choices and people have divine free will. And I really am a kind of advocate for letting people be their choice, as long as you get to be your choice, right? As long as you get to be who you desire to be, then it's a lot easier just to let people be who they are. But at the same time, this is the thing about conscious creatorship, is that like my whole life is super supported. Everything I need always turns up at the right time. And I used to think I had to have certain things in place to allow that to be, but it's the reverse. It's actually allowing it from within myself. And then everything, all the people, places, things, money, finances, whatever, all of it just like, like miraculously. And that's the proof of the pudding, where I'm like, I can't sell you anything that that hasn't been born from my heart. Like, and that's just like the kind of person I am, and why probably people think I'm such a weirdo is like I don't fit into any box that this world created. I'm just my own box, but my box is like a psychedelic box, which is just always like morphing into like different shapes and like rising up. And like, oh, now the box is a big jellyfish. Oh, now the box is just a bunch of air. Because I don't actually think the boxes exist. It's just like a framework in our mind as creators. And then once you realize that you're the box and the creator of the box and the space in between the box, you're just like, oh my God, who needs a fucking box when you've got infinite fucking creative tools here, right? So there's my share for you guys today. Don't forget to meditate. Don't forget to keep breathing, especially when the rage, irritation, anger, if your temper is getting the best of you. Don't forget to meditate, relax, drink lots of water. That's something that I'm getting guided to as well, by the way, you guys. I don't know if you are. I've heard Aluna talk about it as well, but basically I need to drink more water. I'm heading to Bali. I swear to God, this is some bionic mist that I use when I'm traveling or feeling a bit dehydrated, and I'm just about to run out. Actually, I'm realizing plastic, I could actually reuse this spray bottle for multiple different purposes, which I'm going to, because the course that I sell to you guys tells me I should, so I should do it too. But the beautiful thing is that I'm literally just about to run out, and then I'm gonna go top myself up and get myself a new bottle in this beautiful, amazing pure vegan cafe in Seminyak called Paradise, or like Earth Paradise, or Heaven on Earth, or something like that. Anyway, when I stay in Seminyak, it's like the only place that I go to eat, because as you guys know, as a lifelong or long time vegan vegetarian, my optimal choice always is to be eating and consuming in purely vegan establishments. So if at all possible, I will avoid. So like straight up, if I go stay somewhere, like say in Seminyak for 5 days, or even when I was staying in Ubud for 5 days, I found a vegan cafe and I literally just went there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to go into places where they're still like hacking the heads off of certain animals, but then accommodating me as a vegan. Although I'm super pleased that places are accommodating veganism. However, as a like true blood vegan, no pun intended. Does that even make sense? I'm not sure. But like, yeah, as a true one, I'm like, that's my choice. Like, I would much prefer to be eating pure in a vegan establishment where there's no connection to the meat and dairy industries whatsoever. But that's not always available. So, we do our best. We keep promoting it, keep raising awareness around it, and hope for the best. Because like when you go vegan and you're mega in love with it, and you love how your body feels, and you love like you just feel so much clearer and lighter and happier, part of you is just like, how could people not want this? How could people not want to feel this free? And like, I get it. Oh, if you go one way and you feel weak and you're like, I need blood, then have blood when you need it. But you don't need to be eating it 5 times a day. I don't know if people do that still, but like most people like hold on to it for dear life. Like I'll meet certain non-vegan and they're like, you're vegan? And like, you can actually feel the resistance of them like, I need to kill meat. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you can just stay in primitive times and pretend that you're still a caveman and that you need meat to survive when most of our cutting edge scientific and medical research is literally telling us that we're not designed for flesh. Certainly not in the way that our modern consumption patterns have evolved. So, oh, look, MJ's getting a little bit frustrated and angry about the cause she believes in. It's the time. This is it. And I just say about this full moon, this approaching full moon is like rearing us up. And I talk about this in the Fearless Life Guide because a lot of spiritual circles are like, you must be super calm, and they like deny anger and all this shit. I'm somebody who looks at anger as a moving kind of energy that, and again, this is why a lot of spiritual circles might be a little bit ineffective, is because all of them are in denial of the fact that they feel anger. And then they just project anger onto all these people around them and pretend they're holier than fucking thou. And it's not real. They're just in denial of themselves. So I'm somebody who's saying, if you feel anger, again, don't blame other people. Feel your fucking anger and let it move you. I didn't use the F word, but I do say in the Fearless Life Guide, feel your anger and let it move you. So I can like hold space and be like, no, I'm not here blaming all the meat eaters for my anger, but boy, oh boy, do I feel anger. And that anger has allowed me to be a shapeshifter. It has allowed me to be a change maker in the world because I'm not in denial of the fact that I've been oppressed for millennia. And that's fucking annoying. And no, I'm not here to blame everybody because deep within my own psyche and my own consciousness, I'm aware that I divided myself. I am aware that I created the conflict within myself for some cosmic divine reason, and learning on a soul level, we needed to endeavor that level of separation to grow this planet into the divine bliss state that it's meant to be in. At the same time, it's a little experimental station. So you just ebb and flow between the duality and polarity infinitely, over and over again, multidimensional. It just never ends, you guys. It just never ends. But here we are in another big squeezing time where more and more lids are going to get lifted, more and more people's lids are going to explode, the emotional lid that is. And then on the other side of it, don't worry, because we're going to have more compassionate leadership. Hey, Marianne Williamson just announced that she's running for president in 2020. So it's happening. It's like happening. That's something years ago I kind of imagined, because I think she ran for Senate or Congress or something like that. And I was like, well, that's it. That's what we need. And even myself, like, I don't talk about politics at all, but randomly, how weird is this? I'm like, I can see myself moving in those directions, right? Going in and having, leading campaigns and protests and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a protester. I'm not an activist, but there is still a timeline where I can see that happening. The UK's got a bit of a shakeup. Maybe that's why I stay and I'm here. And I'm like, come on, people of the UK, stop pretending like you don't feel anything, you douchebags, because you do. And you pretending like you don't to act like you're superior isn't fucking working anymore. And that's MJ's 2 cents for today. Let's not be in denial of our emotions, and let's stop pretending like we're better than everybody else. Get over it. Realize that we're all in it together, and there's some pretty basic change. I mean, I like straight up, Alta Love's nailed it. Alta Love, like, thank you. Well done. 4 pillars. Unplug mainstream. Go vegan, or close to vegan as you can. Go zero waste or as low waste as possible, and unplug from the mainstream media, mofo lovers. Like, that is the biggest piece. I've been unplugged for 10 years and cannot tell you the radicalness of change. And the fact is like, being an online entrepreneur, having online content, and people are like, holy shit, your content's super authentic, and I've never seen it. Yeah, because I'm literally pioneering something completely radical and brand new, because it's coming purely from within my heart, because I literally haven't engaged with anything else for the last 5 years. It requires dedication, my friends, but I'm here for you. It's all I've ever wanted to do, is like see a happy, blissed out world. And I'm realizing it doesn't even matter because the bliss is all inside of us. We just need to get better at yoking that bliss vibration across the nation. Across the nation. I'm just having an insight about one of you mentioning, like, isn't it funny how regal you are? They're like, all like, yes, channeling divine messages. And then by the end, I'm like, yeah, dancing like Elaine from Seinfeld. I just shared on Facebook as well. And I got up and I went like this. Just to share with you guys the fact that I'm in my PJs. And let's be honest, not winter, Christmas. This is like a family tradition of mine that my sister started, that all of us, so like Christmas morning we wake up and like she's put out all of our Christmas stuff. So every year I get new Christmas stuff, but this year I'm going to use the Zenful Zero Waste email, which if you buy the course you can get. And the email is something I can send to all my family and friends, basically saying, stop, don't buy a bunch of bullshit for me, I don't want it. Instead, opt for this. So my sis, if she wanted to do this year, would go secondhand. If she wanted to hook up these kind of box fresh things. So it would have to be secondhand for me and All to Love. And or she'd be well impressed, because normally I don't keep things. She's always like, God, Molly, why do you always just give away everything? I'm like, because I can't hoard, and I don't want to. If I have more than like 3 like sleepy trousers, it starts to feel like uncomfortable for me. So I tend to like give things away. But then she was like kind of hurt, and then that's my sister, and I love her. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep them. So I'm gonna advise her, like, don't buy me any more Christmas stuff. I'll just wear these beauties until I can't wear them anymore. And then we'll find some secondhand ones to replace in years to come. There's a little bit of insight. So don't forget, you guys, this is your last week. I have a few spots left for free calls. And please head over to alltolove.com /Zenful Zero Waste and check out our Zenful Zero Waste course. I'm super excited. I've just done a massive technical overhaul so that we don't have to deliver over 8 weeks. That was fantastic. It really worked for the first kind of like launching of the course. But basically, just to make it easier for Katie and I, we've set it up in a way that once you buy the course, so you can buy via PayPal, or if you want to do bank transfer, you can get in touch. It's 144 pounds. Those of you who are tribe members, you get a bit of a discount. Also, a reminder for those of you doing free calls with me at this point, if you are a tribe member again and you want to have further coaching sessions, you can get massive discounts when you become a tribe member. Not to mention the fact that tribe members have access to like oodles and oodles of exclusive private video content. So that's really good. And then again, you guys get discounts on other services and products and events. And yeah, just head over to alltolove.com, buy the course, and then I'll send you an email. So once you buy the course, I'll send you an email, or Team Love will send you an email basically giving you the login details. And then once you log in, you just see it. It's all the buttons are at the top, and then you can scroll down. Something that I did was I literally copied and pasted all the writing, and then some stuff I printed out because I still find it easier to read there, and then other stuff I just put on my computer so I can kind of scroll through at my own time. I don't always need to be online. You guys have a great day. I'm so looking forward to sharing Zenful Zero Waste with more of you, and I really appreciate when you guys talk about it, and then for those of you who have sat the course and then are bringing more people to the course. Team Love, we're just so thankful. We're so thankful for people that actually get it and are endeavoring to make those changes and want to be supported to make those changes instead of just kind of talking about it but not really doing anything. And that's another thing, straight up. I just got a message, didn't I? Whoa, distraction. Anywho, keep meditating, keep relaxing, keep breathing deeply. And by the way, if you're ever feeling mega frustration, do a forward bend. Forward bend in yoga is meant to be really good for dissolving stress, anger, frustration, rage, those kinds of emotions, those kind of like heated, quite strong ones. Um, so yeah, forward fold. And I look forward to speaking to you guys real soon. I hope that was useful, maybe even a little entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and share and like and do all that stuff that is really useful for those of us using this platform to share a message and spread some love vibration all over the place. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome day. Peace out.